Okay, welcome to another Wolfram Language Design Review. This is heading into version 14.1. I just noticed that this agenda had a date from September of last year, but lots of things here are new, I believe.
Yeah, that's just when we started out.
Okay.
Because we start 14.2 now, so it's going to have an April date.
Okay, great. All right. We talked about speech recognize and major enhancements to speech recognize and language identify. Okay, is that now working? Video transcribe. Okay, that's cool.
That's a new proposal based on our Monday conversation.
Well, it seems like a good idea to me. But I think maybe it needs a property argument that, I guess if you just say speech recognize of a video, it will give you the transcription, but video transcribe will actually insert the transcription as into the video.
As a subtitle track, exactly.
Yes, sounds right to me.
Okay.
Okay, you figured out the interval business.
There is one decision that you need to make that is in the next little section.
Okay. Video intervals. Okay. Seems right to me. I mean, what was it returning before?
A list of lists of rules, where the first part of the rule is start time, end time.
You mean where the left-hand side of the rule is start time?
Yes,
end time?
yes.
Yeah, video intervals, audio intervals, only a list of
sorry, never mind. There is no rule.
Intervals.
Yeah,
no rules.
my bad.
What are you saying?
No rules. These are just intervals of time, assumed to be in seconds.
How does this relate to how we're doing sound, note, and God knows what else? I mean, I'm kind of not convinced that this should have interval in it. Is it possible to? I'm kind of thinking that we could have a syntax where it says video intervals of v arrow, and then what you want the return type to be. See what I'm saying? So we say something like video intervals, video, arrow, lists, or arrow intervals or something. I don't know if that's crazy.
Reminds me of...
always requires a second argument, by the way.
Yeah, and I assume Steven means that whatever additional arguments come next. That's why we're sticking with
Yeah. I'm just saying this rule will have to be not at the end of the whatever call is happening.
Well, no, it's right there. Video, arrow,
that's
whatever.
fine.
As opposed to muddying itself up with the criterion.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware.
Right, but I want to say that I think there's a value to just having plain lists with seconds in them without fancifying into quantities and intervals and such like.
Yes, and that was one of the reasons why we defaulted to that. But this seems like a good way to support both and not break backwards.
Not sure. Remember, we have so many functions that have properties. Sometimes this formatting gets embedded into the property specification.
I know, but this one doesn't have properties.
Doesn't have properties. And then some other cases, I think we have just even an additional argument for what that formatting is going to be. I think we discussed that 2-3 versions ago, that maybe an option, a unified option among so many functions that specifies what the format should be, could be useful.
Could be useful. I agree. But I think in these cases, unfortunately, there are enough different situations. I would not change what it's doing right now. I would support something which says arrow intervals or arrow quantities, for example, or quantity intervals. Arrow intervals and arrow quantity intervals.
Do you want us to leave them without that arrow goes to something 14.1 and look at the bigger picture in LCC?
maybe, but I think this is the right way to do it. And I think don't change the return as it is right now.
Okay, that would be good. I prefer that.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to look at these things. So where do I want to start here? You had talked about Nest Video before, and okay, I mean, does this fold have to be individual frame by frame?
It can be blocks of frames.
Okay, so if I say, why isn't Nest Video there?
That has conflicts in prototype with manipulated video, unfortunately. So we couldn't squeeze it in.
To this prototype build, right? I mean,
I think it has been out of prototype for at least a week, I think.
Yeah.
There are a few examples in the ref page, but this is one of those functions that I'm sure you're going to come up with great ideas for exemplifying it.
Well, I mean, I do think that you need a time scale here. I mean, if this is frame by frame nesting, I think it's much more likely to be wait 5 seconds, then do this, then do this, then do this. So I'm saying I would say that returning in each, I mean, what's really kind of weird is what I'm thinking here. By the way, what is the minimal way to turn a 2D cellular automaton into a video? But let me give an example.
I think it's already as an example down there.
No, but it won't be Nest because Nest isn't the minimal way to do it. The minimum way to do it. Let me give an example here. So let's say cellular automaton, game of life, random integer, 1. Let's say 100 by 100. And let's say we go for 100 steps. Okay, that's going to make a big structure. It's just a list of lists of lists of lists and so on. How do I make that into a video? So that's a list of frames. Do I need to array plot it first?
Map, image, or array plot, whichever you like, onto that list.
Let me map. Well, let's map image onto the list. Image. I mean, let's color negate of image mapped onto this. I'm going to be nice and make it image object. That was nice and fast. Okay, now what?
I wonder if color negate is listable in that case. You want to check the result. But then after that, it's going to be a frame list video. Okay.
Whoops, what is this? I'm trying to type a 2 in it, and it just, what the heck? What is happening here? Do you see that white stripe across my screen?
Yeah.
Who knows what that was? Okay. Well, now it's spinning. Oh my gosh. Coolosaurus. Now, what if I want to make this bigger on the screen?
This, you need to reconstruct the video and specify an image size. This is something that
But then with that frame list video, does that take a raster size option?
I forgot.
Can't you do video to just set that option?
Yes. Yeah. That's
video of that previous thing, comma.
Image size goes to.
Why is this is spinning like crazy? Something is very, very wrong here.
Could that be because the history has a lot of data in it? And every time it tries to fetch something from the...
Oh, okay, that was nice and fast. So let's try this. It's fuzzy. It's very fuzzy. You see how fuzzy it is? Can you see that through?
That's, I think, the interpolation, raster interpolation, Carlo, right?
That's something?
No, that's something we're experimenting with in prototype, which should we've discussed it. It's going to go away. That's wrong.
Well, I mean, you can
no,
see it.
it's
Look,
gonna
look,
go
look
way.
at this. You've got echoes there.
Echoes are most probably the video encoding.
Yeah, well, okay, but it's wrong. I mean, look at it. It's really bad. Look at this.
Can
you
you,
see
would you mind pressing on the hamburger menu at the bottom right of that video and opening System Player and see if this is something that depends on us or is baked into the video?
That looks terrible. Look at how
Yeah,
bad.
so I think this is just the fact that, you know, as Shad said, when you create a video, you pass it to something that compresses it. And
Yeah, but this, okay, so how do I get a decent looking video out of this?
maybe you just specify a bigger raster size while you're generating the video. So then these artifacts appear at a much smaller scale.
Well, maybe it's just the wrong encoding. I mean, we've got 700 encodings. Why can't there be one that actually does it right?
No, well, so, okay. The only encoding that doesn't have artifacts are the ones that are completely uncompressed, but those would get you insane, completely
All right,
insane.
okay, so let's say I say video frame list here, raster size.
Yeah, that might be better. Raster size 500, let's say.
Still looks fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. It's look. Can't you see that? Maybe you can't see it so well. Remotely, but
No, I can see. I think, okay, I have one. So the problem was, well, this is caused by the fact that we generated images that are 100 by 100. So those edges are the pixel edges. And we are enlarging those pixels. And however we enlarge them, either with the raster size or just making the player bigger, some interpolation is going on.
all right. So let's try a
I'm
different.
wondering if you do array plot instead of
I'm going to try.
image. And that is gonna.
And then I say pixel perfect. Pixel constrained arrow 3.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
It makes it pixel perfect. Okay, so there's my thing. And now I say video.
Frame list
frame
video.
video.
I would specify the raster size because that will still be important.
Well, how do I know the raster size? Because you see that's pixel perfect. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's try without it and see what happens.
Okay, that will be 300, I guess, in raster size.
Okay.
Taking its time. I don't know why it's taking so much longer here. Is that
I
because
would
it has to
expect-
rasterize?
Yes, and I would expect 600 in raster size.
Well, what do you know? Much sharper.
Yeah, the problem is that we generated the image at the beginning, and to make it bigger, interpolation was happening.
But
but
image
we-
resize should use a good resampling there. I
Yeah,
think
but the
part of that's the
resampling is
raster
good.
interpolation in image.
What, sorry? No, it isn't. Really, the resampling in image resize is good, but doesn't preserve edges, right?
Yeah, but so that's an option for the resize. But I mean here,
Yeah.
if I say in this, the image, can I give an image size here?
Yes.
You think it's 600, by the way, not 300? Or
Yes,
Image
600.
size should be
Okay.
300, but then it rasterizes to a 600 because you're on a high resolution display.
okay. Well, so I said fast, at least. Why isn't this bigger? Well, how do I make that bigger again?
I would probably just specify a bigger image size when you generate the images.
I did.
I would go to 600. because I think this
Is
is
that ported true, Carlo?
No.
I
No,
think
look,
image
look,
size
look.
is not ported true. Is not passed over.
Well, what's happening there? I don't know why that seems.
Oh, the
to be right.
percent. The percent.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, now it's spinning. Oh, fuzzball again.
Yeah, I think that this, well, yeah.
I think I know what's the problem. If we'll try to get that resolved. And if we couldn't get that resolved, Carlo, I may be wrong. Then we'll figure out what's causing it.
Okay. And then we need to document this and we need to figure out how to make it not happen. And we need to, if necessary, we should just run a classifier to figure out what kind of an image it is and make a decision about compression based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, having the no compression version would produce really, really outrageously gigantic videos that are mostly not
I
playable.
don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary. I think that we just got a bug here. Or we've got a use of a thing which is expecting continuous photograph type images, not discrete digital images. See what I'm saying?
Yep, I see.
So what I'm saying, and we should make a little classifier that should be trivial to make, that decides very fast what kind of an image it is, and decides what kind of compression to do based on that. And in the progress monitor that says it's making the images, we can describe what compression it's using.
Is there even a codec that's particularly good for those?
I am not sure. I will investigate.
But among all
my
the
guess
codecs
is
we
no.
have, I have to believe something is.
My guess is no, but I am not sure, and I will look it up.
Yeah.
I suspect wavelet codecs, for example, will be better than cosine transform codecs and so on. Just because they have a,
Could
Anyway.
be. Could be. As I said, I'll look it up and see if there is anything that performs better
Okay.
than this.
Okay.
Talking about
manipulate.
progress
Okay.
monitor of generating videos, Carlo just put together a nice PR that shows the progress of frames. I put it in chat. It's a screen capture of my screen generating a video that takes a little longer. Yeah, I noticed that's a Chrome, right? Chrome doesn't show that. You have Firefox, maybe?
Well, yeah. Okay. Now I can see it. All right. What are you showing here?
Showing that generating frame, the cow in that progress monitor, you show the progress of inflating cow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Always an important
Especially
thing to
since
do.
a lot of these take a lot of time. It's nice to see a progress of what's
I agree
happening.
completely.
And
Yeah.
the other thing that I added, I think is nice, is if you see that your video is being weird, I added a stop button, and that will just output a valid video that is just up to that frame.
Why is the cow turning its head to the side? Just
Good
asking.
question.
It might be upset about all the gases. But wait a minute, how do you generate that? Is this just a radial expansion
Yeah, I think
from-
so. That's
from
I
somewhere?
think the cow probably has its head misaligned relative to the center of expansion.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Let's just talk about the appearance here. I don't see that the parens are doing us any good.
Yeah, so this is the default thing that the progress, evaluate with progress does. It's equivalent to the current item display, but obviously anything else can be used.
Well, I just think generating video frames, ... I would just say generating frame and then no parens.
Okay, I'll ask Julio what he thinks about if this is a change that applies to everything or just the video functionality.
Right. Okay. So let me look at manipulate video. How do I?
Yep.
Am I just looking at documentation?
Yes.
That's a very obscure first example.
That's a bad first example. I told Roger I'll replace it this morning, and then I ran out of time.
Look at the application examples.
Yeah, I would
I'm
scroll
just going
down.
to do the trivial.
Hmm?
I'm just going to make one myself.
Okay.
I want to see the whole workflow. It's spinning a disk here. Is that what it should be doing? Elapsed time 0, remaining time.
The elapsed time 0 is a bug that is fixed in a pull request.
Okay, but
has...
why is my
How
Yeah, we
old
don't
is
see
your-
the spinning thing, but it should not be spinning.
How old is your prototype?
I
The
don't know.
most recent, I suppose.
I assume this is dead. It's dead. What do I do? Just kill the system?
Yeah, force quit.
Do I have any choice? Well, it wasn't a great demo. When the thing comes up, so I assume that when it comes up, the cow is left.
That was your QuickTime player, I think.
I know. Hold on, I've got to find my.
The cow blew up the system.
Was that a revenge?
Yeah.
Could be overinflated. Okay, hold on. 09, right? Okay. So my question is, do the controls show up on the manipulate video, or is it just the content area?
Just the content. But I think we do have that's the default. We do have the appearance, control appearance option.
I think appearance, actually.
Is this the right document?
This looks like the old one.
Right. We need the one that says updated.
Okay. All right. Back down here. Okay. And we want to manipulate video.
If you cannot run it, maybe scroll, as Roger suggested, to the application example.
This is a special case. This is a different
Yes.
thing, right?
That's new from manipulate itself. Yes.
And manipulate has no meaning for. I mean, when you've had other tour videos and so on, does that syntax work in those tour videos?
Yeah, time goes to some spec. Yeah.
Yeah, but does it work in an association like that?
So let me just check. The reason why this is an association and not the list of rules is that manipulate does have a list of rules syntax. That
What does it do? What does that mean?
Labels. I don't remember. Let me just check.
No, that's not on the right-hand side there. That's the left-hand side has labels. The right-hand side is not using labels there.
The right-hand
If you
side
open
is
the right-hand side.
Value. Right-hand side is the label. If you open the manipulate CVS page, it's not in the main usage, it's in the notes. Well, in the details, sorry. That's why I would have supported that table, the 1, 2, 3, 4.
I see it.
6, yeah, that guy over there.
So setter bar.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a setter bar in the case of a manipulate video, do you? What sense does it make to have in other words, a manipulate video has a continuous time variable.
True.
Even the DT doesn't.
It could be anything, right? It could be a discrete variable. It just would be stepping.
How does it drive it? It drives it from that. So if there's a DT, it drives it in discrete intervals. Yes.
Yeah, and same if there's a list of values. It's like manipulate does the same when you do the auto run, right? If there's a setter bar, it will go through all the values in that setter bar.
I'm not thrilled about this association hack, because I think, in fact, had we had associations when we were designing manipulate originally for this label thing, we would have used it there too.
And the interesting fact about manipulate video is that most of the examples that so far we have created, we haven't created many, are not very happy with that second argument. The thing that seem to be even more handy is that new time marks option that we are proposing both for manipulate and manipulate video. The reason I say that is that the second argument defines how we vary a single argument at a time, and then you have to think going back in time and define it for the second variable, third variable. In time mark specification, you think about time 0, give all the settings for all variables at time 0, then think about time 1, time 2, and so forth.
Is that what they're called? I mean, in stop motion video, what is it called?
So
do you understand my question?
Yeah. Oh, sorry?
Do you understand
I
my
get
question?
your question. I don't know the answer.
Okay, we need the answer.
The reason why these have this name is just for similarity with bookmarks, which is what this is based on, which is an existing option, manipulate.
Yeah, let's find
no
out
one knows
in videos.
Yeah, sounds good.
Go to, I mean, I don't think that there is enough applications yet, but go to applications and manipulate video. This one doesn't have much.
That's pretty wild. I don't understand this at all. How do we know 0, 1? I don't understand. Are we giving integers? Are we giving just numbers?
Those are times. Those are, the left-hand side is a time and the right-hand side is the setting at that time.
What happens if you want to interpolate between two times?
It does interpolate.
Well, what happens if you don't want it to interpolate? What happens if you want
can
it to
specify a different interpolation order?
Where?
You can either specify it within manipulate that already has an interpolation order, or if you wanna in the variable specification, so instead of list x, 0, 1, you could do x, 0, 1 and specify an interpolation order option just for that variable if you have multiple variables and each has a different behavior.
Okay. What have we done in tour video and things like this with these time I mean, this is now a much more complicated thing with, I don't even understand the.
Yeah, I think what Roger says, maybe clearer examples, you might find them in the manipulate video page in the application section.
Like, look at that rotation. Okay, stop. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say that that's the manipulate there, and then here is a script. This is what you want to achieve, right? How do you translate that script to code?
Yeah. It's really weird that we've got lists. I mean, why isn't it just a function to be run with semicolons and things at that point?
I mean,
I
that
think
could be, but right.
what I mean, what are you talking about? What's the
Well, the
function?
fact that that list returns your.
I don't know why there's a bunch of
Follow,
assignments there.
You set your video on. I don't know if you want
I
to.
don't know why. Sorry, my
The-
bad.
These, I mean,
No, you understand what I'm saying? That list is going to return the right-hand sides of those assignments, which is pretty weird. That
So-
list has a value, but all you're trying to use is side effects.
I mean, I think that it's time marks because of the way manipulate was written. I don't think that there needed to be assignments at all. You just want these particular parameter values to be your landmarks that you go between.
Right. But I mean, so that they could just be a list.
Yeah.
Where we know it's PX,
Yeah,
PY,
that would be fine. This is just for compatibility with
Well, how do bookmarks?
manipulate bookmarks, exactly like this.
Well, how does it-
They just don't have the
Really?
left-hand side is a label instead of the time. They don't have a notion of time.
Right.
Performs actions. Wow.
Yeah, this is ancient. It seems like no one has almost ever used it.
Well, and look at how pathetically it's documented. Just pathetic. Yeah, well, I think we should just do this with the settings and call it something or other settings.
I think that's what I called it in the time marks documentation. But even the syntax you don't seem to like.
No, I don't think it should be like that. I don't think we should have if what you're doing is setting those variables, we know the order of the variables, just set the list of variables. Just give the list of values. Don't say thing equals that.
But in the case of one argument, we know the order of variables. In the case of 3 arguments, I think we still can
We
keep
always
track.
know the order of variables. We always know. Because
We
we
always
have them
know
right
it.
there in the manipulate.
But what
But-
if there's nested controls?
Nested controls, or honestly, if as soon as it gets to 10 controls, it might be more explicit to be able to specify what exactly I would like to change.
This also allows you to not specify some variables in some steps.
Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
I was going to say that.
It looks clunky at first.
No, I
Using
understand,
it
but
is-
its name is terrible. So
Yeah, I'm not arguing with the name. Yeah, I agree.
timed actions, no, that's terrible too.
Keyframes at some point was
Yeah,
mentioned.
keyframes is usually what it's
sometime
called.
back.
Okay,
Keyframe
that's what I was
animation.
asking for.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, these are key parameters in our case.
Well, maybe what we want to call it is keyframe settings, keyframe rules.
Keyframe.
Oops,
You
no,
mean keyframe?
Keyframe. I assume keyframe is one word.
I like the settings idea, but rules is also okay, I think.
settings or actions.
Maybe that's even more explicit.
Keyframe, I mean, what we call it button action or something, right? Keyframe actions. That's about right. That's what it's actually doing.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, over time, I think we need to be able to elaborate on these to have, let's say that you want a label to come in one frame, or maybe
well, you can have an action. I mean, you have an action, you have an arbitrary. The only question is whether that thing on the right-hand side should be a function by default.
I think no. I think that's super hard to use.
I mean, at that point, you're just implementing video generator with a pure function that no one likes.
I see.
So if you want to do that, it's fine. But we do have the tools already.
So this seems good. Okay. So keyframe actions. And there are a series of actions that you take, setting variables to things.
I want to point out that this same time marks option, as it's documented, we're suggesting it goes into manipulate itself. And just like we could animate bookmarks, we can now animate these timed actions as well.
Fine.
Keyframe actions still sound, I just wanted to make sure you think that seems right in that context as well.
I mean, we're talking about an animation in both cases. It doesn't seem completely crazy even in manipulate.
And I think also that it suggests if you look at the list of options and you see keyframe things, you know it's an animation related option.
Sure. That I agree with, yes.
And we've worked it out with Lou and John. No need to change box structure. This will be backward. Well, stuff, yes, this will be backwards compatible and will not break anything, even though it touches the manipulate code.
Okay. So Nest video, I think that an important piece of that story.
By the way, Stephen.
Yeah.
When we mature this a little bit, I think that this is another reason to revive demonstrations, because you could have experiments and other things that are there for the different manipulates, and authors could create those, and those would be great for X posts and LinkedIn's. And
you mean videos that come from the thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. That's a good idea to have videos on the demonstration page.
Yeah,
as well as just static pictures to have videos. It's a good idea.
Right. And then, you know, and so the thing you had there that you saw the rotation was a kind of like a learning situation, kind of like when you get a lab compendium, when you go to do a real physical lab.
I get it. So this is basically, you're suggesting demonstrations also become a collection of static videos that people could use without the player and so on.
Yeah.
Fine idea.
That, or even just manipulate video to create videos to promote those hundreds, thousands of demonstrations, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, we should just run manipulate video to create demonstrations by default from all those manipulates in the demonstrations.
But I think that that what makes it interesting is when you actually tell a story, not when you do random shit.
Yeah, well, right. But I mean, and then, yes, there are elaborate videos that can be made. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done with your teams having, you know, demonstration examples of machine learning stuff and so on that hasn't been done and needs to be done. But I mean, we're just about to have a big modernization of demonstrations just coming through. But that's a good thing to add to that. Okay, let's look at this. End time, this is not grammatically correct. Default duration per frame, is that per nest, is that correct?
That is the duration.
That's the total.
I see.
However, I don't think that makes any sense. I think that's wrong. I think that got copied over in the doc page. I'm not sure there should be a default duration.
Well, what's the duration per nest?
Yes, so I think in that context, it makes more sense if we interpret the default duration as the default duration per nest.
Well, no, but I mean, if default duration otherwise is the total duration of the video, we can't do that just in this case.
Yeah, it is that case.
This is what I'm saying. I think interpreting default duration as the duration per nest is would be the correct thing to do.
No, because we
No.
use default duration elsewhere for the total duration of the generated
Well,
video.
then we need some other way, because default duration doesn't particularly make sense here.
The
because-
option documents frame rate as well, which could specify, but then there's a conflict between the two. We'll have to decide which one supersedes the other
But
one.
we have three things, right? The frame rate, the number of iterations, and a default duration.
I am
don't think-
completely confused here. I'm sorry. That by the time you've got that fourth argument, why are you not just generating the nest and then doing a frameless video of that?
Because if you want 100 of those, fine. If you want 1,000 of those, you're going to run out of memory.
I see. Well, show me an example that's actually interesting. Are these interesting? I mean, I don't know if these are interesting.
Some of those random walks, I think, was very
Oh,
interesting. Look at applications. There are that event's second example with the angle path.
What? I'm not seeing that. Where? Oh,
Up in the basic examples, there was all of these are nice as well. You should be able to play most of these videos.
frame rate. So wait a minute, there is a frame rate in the nest video.
Yes.
Well, so that gives you the duration.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where I'm saying you should download the video.
Okay.
Frame rate and default duration can be conflicting, and we'll have to decide which one takes the precedent.
Shadi, I really don't think Nest Video has a default duration option. I think that was just copied over in the docs from some other video generation function.
Great. Okay, then we just
but
go
I
with
think
frame
it
rate.
should have a default duration. Why not?
I also think it will come handy.
Yeah, and the frame rate supersedes the default duration.
Okay, fine. That's okay.
Click it, Stephen. Click the
What's that?
arrow. Click the arrow.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think that was.
Okay, so
The one above is interesting as well.
hold on.
Sure.
Basically, you've got a bunch of data there. You know, this is a general category of thing where you're writing data out as it's generated.
Yes.
And is it really right? Is this really the right design, or is a better design to have something that's more like so? Right? Because then you could do it for anything. You're just saying, I'm going on, it's kind of like so video frame. See what I'm saying?
So that is, we kind of use that internally. Not exactly, but yeah, we create some iterator that opens a file, and then whatever construct you can write a frame.
Well, I mean, so
That is a very low level, though, kind of way.
Well, what I'm suggesting is something like this. Okay, let's just say read video of so video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
Yeah, as I said, this is pretty much
general.
what we have, right, internally. It's just, the impression that we had is that this is a bit too low level. But
I just think that by the time you've got that fourth argument, it's kind of like, why do we have this?
mm-hmm. I would not be against having some construction like this, because then any iterator construct the language we can use. However, I'm not sure we can wrap this something like that up for 14.1, just because the current version of So Video Frame is a gigantic monster with 1,000 options to make sure that
Well, why don't you look into
codecs
doing
are.
this? Because
What's that?
I just don't think I'm unconvinced about Nest Video and so on. Really am. Because of this fact that you have to have that processor, the thing you're calling writer, which I don't really like the name of.
Again, I would be excited to expose something in the REAP video thing. I'm just saying that I am not sure if that
Okay,
is
fine. But
doable
I'm
in
saying I
Python.
don't know whether we want to have
Yeah,
Nest
that's okay.
Video,
Mhm.
given, maybe even put it in the function repository for this version or something.
Okay.
Because I just don't think, I think it's very undefined what I don't know. Roger, what do you think?
Well,
I think
I'm
it's
not
written nicely. Yeah,
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
think that there's been a couple of demos there in Nest Video that I like one of those things that look at nearby things. Was it Nest one or Fold one that sort of create like motion blur, that kind of thing?
That was the Fold one.
Okay.
Okay,
But
I'm sure these things are nice, but I'm wondering, why isn't this just Fold with a So Video Frame wrapped around the target? I mean, in other words, if So Video Frame of Expa returns Expa, then that does everything you need. Well, I mean, you're saying that So Video Frame is going to have a function in it anyway, because what you're going to want to do is you're saying So Video Frame of Expa, comma, processing function.
Exactly.
I mean, not necessarily, right? That could just be processing function of exp, right?
No,
it
it can't
could
be.
work
processing
either
No,
way.
it
function
cannot
of
be
So
because it's
Video
got to
Frame
return
of.
Expa. Otherwise, it can't do the nesting.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Right. So then what you could do is you could say REAP video of blah, 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 comma, procfun, which could then just do the processing for everything. Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, when it comes in, it processes.
And that REAP video could be a table of something, could be a nest of something, a fold of something, etc.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a do, it could be anything.
Yeah, exactly. It could be an arbitrary expression, I would argue.
Yes, which then has a So Video Frame in it,
yeah.
where the So Video Frame either has a processor in the individual video frames, or there's a bank processor in the REAP video.
Yeah, as I said, this is equivalent to what we use internally, and I would be excited about something like this. The one thing that I'm not sure would work out, or that we need to think about, maybe is a better way of wording it. How do you figure out the progress monitoring of this? But I guess the changes that Giulio just made would make that trivial, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just thinking out loud.
I think it's even sufficient that says, if it says, running REAP video, collected 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frames.
Mm-hmm.
That would be enough, I think.
Yeah.
Saying how many frames altogether there are is luxury and might or might not work.
Yeah, sounds good. As I said, this is a function that I would be excited to have.
Fine, but what is the right name for So Video Frame? Is it So Video Frame? Is that the right function name?
I'm trying to think.
It's not obviously wrong.
So the difference between REAP and So and what you're proposing is that So Video Frame does not wait until it is collected by REAP to write the frame. It does it immediately and then loses it. REAP reaps the resulting video rather than the frame.
No, it doesn't. Sows immediately into some data structure that's out in the wilderness, so to speak.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. But REAP video doesn't get what So Video sows. It gets the finalized video rather than the list.
Well, I'm sorry. What do you mean? It gets look. If there's a procfun here, it applies the procfun to the Expa.
Yep. Okay? Yes, but it would be silly to store that in memory. It just needs to write it in the video file. Of course
it does. And if there wasn't a procfun here, Well, whatever proc fun there is here, that needs to get run on whatever REAP video receives from every SO
Yeah,
before
yeah.
it's written into the video file.
Um, I'm not sure if the thing that makes me uneasy about it is that REAP and SO are not the most obvious functions to start with.
What do you mean they're not the most obvious functions to start with? Or what?
I don't know. They are very specific to our languages. Someone else that hasn't had
Tough luck.
exposure to Wolfram language
luck.
comes to it. Okay, well, I'm fine with that. I like that. That seems fair.
What else would we have?
I was thinking
Raise an
about concepts
exception
of
and have a
writers and
handler?
writers.
Come on. What
right?
do we do?
We have streams, right, as well.
We're not going to use streams. They're completely
okay.
obscure.
That's fine.
Streams nobody uses in our language. They use them in, you know, in Go or something. You probably use streams, but not, you know, for systems programming.
I mean, that's fair. Again, I don't have a strong feeling about the names.
And no way are we going to say open a stream right into the stream. No, this is a nice construct that has a SO. And if
I'm definitely not arguing
REAP,
that
it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think the syntax of this is excellent. I think this covers most of the cases for video generator that I can think of.
Well, then I think it's a win because I think it's easy to
understand.
So. Okay, so I would suggest nest video, etc. go in the function repository.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Okay, FFmpeg. Improved MPEG installation. Is it really clean or is it still messy?
It will be clean for the release. It is work in progress, but you've seen the workflow. It's just a matter of clicking a button and it will do the thing.
Okay, all right, fine. Video plot. Really? That's a weird concept.
It's just a utility.
I would not call it video plot. I would call it something like video summary plot or something. Because it sounds like
good.
two.
That's
Sounds
funny.
good.
That's the exact name I suggest.
Okay. Does it have a million options or not?
It
Yes.
has a bunch.
There's another appearance where you can see the actual frames.
Where is it?
I don't know. I saw them in examples.
I think it is. Yeah, it is in the options and then plot layout.
Yep.
That's incredibly obscure. I have to say, I think I would give that as a second argument. I think it's very major issue for it. And what are the possible settings?
Currently
Just
it's
for
row
now.
and stacked, but like one can imagine a grid.
Yes. One could imagine it with or without the audio, blah, 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 how big the audio is.
Yeah, audio track selection already exists and you can set it to none so you can kill the audio plot essentially.
I forgot to add it to the list of options in the notes. I'll add it.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. I mean, I think there's an argument that given the video player, there should be some kind of button to get the summary video plot from the video player.
We could do that.
So I'm saying, I mean, let's look at where that would go, because I think that would be useful.
I mean, there's the usual menu that we have at the bottom right. Seems like a natural place.
All right. But then where would we put the video summary plot?
Mm,
Would it be in the
I
frame
would
here, or
say
would it be?
I would say next to all the copy
Mhm.
actions.
No. But where would it go? Where would the actual resulting plot go?
Oh, either
Clipboard.
clipboard or paste in the cell underneath.
If it's a copy summary plot, I think it just copies in the clipboard.
Okay. Okay, that seems useful. I think that's, I can see using that routinely, actually.
Yeah, like for your book, for books or blogs or something. I mean, or something that doesn't have.
Among other things, right. That reminds me, did we get implemented the torn appearance for expressions? I don't know which group is doing that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where we say, range of whatever, 10,000 or something, and we want to show that, but we want to show it torn after the first few lines.
Oh, I see. That would be cool. I do not know who is
Okay,
in charge of it.
can we ask John Foltz and see whether he took action on that? Otherwise, we need that. I mean, I know we have WFR functions for it. Jeremy Davis has written them. I think we just need to build it in. I think this was
Felipe,
something.
can you follow up?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll get that. Yep.
Okay. Video and image resolution. Is this something I need to look at?
I think it's
This
something that
is-
you had a beef with, and I think rightly so. So
So what was the thing that got done here?
So in 14.0, the bottom two results, a plot that was showing nice and small got passed into a video generator or any other
Well,
video
that's
generation
wrong.
functions.
Yeah. Right. And became giant.
Yep.
yes,
Yeah, well, it's just a bug.
Well, no, it is not. But it is something that we can work around if we add an image resolution option to video, and because the video file doesn't have an idea of resolution, doesn't have that metadata, unfortunately. But
Which means the video only gets that good treatment in our system. As soon as you open it in your system player, it's gonna look big and ugly. As soon as, in fact, you get the file path to that video and wrap a video object around it, again, it loses that notion of image resolution.
But this will
I'm
make
sorry.
everything in
Sorry.
a notebook. Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I got distracted for a second. Could you say that again? So the problem is that
Video
it doesn't
files,
know the image resolution.
yeah, video files cannot store video resolution. Unlike image files. There is a very standard way of storing resolution for images, not for videos.
Oh, that's just wrong. So you're fixing it.
Well,
Right.
we're fixing it.
That's in the
We're not. We're not
Right.
proposing a new international standard for.
yeah,
video.
it's in the
No,
product.
but our video wrapper.
Yes.
Can do
now
that.
it does have it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
That's
I mean,
the,
if you
that's
have
the-
an alien MPEG or something, then you're out of luck.
Yes.
Yeah. correct.
exactly.
But if you generate using our video generation functions, then that will be baked in, hopefully at the correct value. And if it is not the correct value, then that is definitely a bug, but it shouldn't be.
Okay. Okay. Okay, image segmentation. Okay. What is this?
Segmentation object is a new object. Remember our label matrices from all of segmentation functions was just a giant ugly imager matrix. We're
Yes.
wrapping it into a head, but also we're
Well, how is
beefing it
that
up.
being done compatibly?
So that's a part of the discussion that comes at the bottom of this notebook, at the bottom of the notes. I'm suggesting that image segmentation components that was just introduced in 14 can get upgraded to return segmentation object, especially because we can get rich information about what kind of an object we're looking at when we're looking at segments. But then for things like morphological components, it doesn't have any notion of this component is a dog or a bolt or something else. So we can just wrap the result into segmentation object if we want it displayed nicely so that we don't break backwards compatibility.
I'm sorry, I got distracted again. Could you say that again?
I'm
so
saying
you're
the
saying,
very old functions, like morphological components, were not breaking backwards compatibility. If somebody wants a nice new object, they wrap the old result into segmentation object.
but does it
But
have
for
enough information?
it doesn't have any additional information other than the integers corresponding to every pixel. But then from newer segmentation routines, we can get information like this component is a tomato, the next one is a potato, right? And then that would be the interesting information to include in a segmentation object, in addition to just a label integer matrix.
Sure. Well, I don't understand the segmentation object versus things like text recognize that can have, regions that correspond to text and things like this.
Yeah, text recognize, we only have bounding boxes. So you can say the text corresponding to bounding box 1 is
I know,
this text
but
and so forth.
you could equally well, I mean, for find faces, for example, or facial features, you'd also could do, you could have a segmentation object from that as well.
Yeah, that's another note I have in the details. I think all of these functions that you mentioned and a few more can feed rich information into segmentation object.
Okay, so let me just comment that this is very similar to what we're trying to do with text annotation.
Okay.
We've got these various text element constructs, and it's also somewhat relevant, in general for an image. There's sort of the annotation of the raw image.
Yes.
And how are we planning to do that? So the tomato thing, how do we indicate in an image that it has tomatoes in it?
We do have annotation rules in some of our objects like audio, graphs, and
right.
I think
So
some
I
of the
think this is what we
geometries.
need to do. It's a general thing where you have an image and you have added metadata. It's like closed captioning tracks, subtitle tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You're adding some meta information to the object. I am much less convinced. And then that object, that annotated image, can have various display options. Like it can have something where it has, purple boxes around the things that it's.
True.
I don't think this is right. I don't think this segmentation object, this disembodied segmentation object, independent of image, is quite right. I think this needs, I'm sorry, I suggest going back to thinking about this.
You want that bundled with annotations?
I think so, with images. I mean, I think that's what, and I think then what we do is some of these functions like, we have to rethink how these things, which honestly, they are not my favorite functions, all these morphological components functions and so on, they're pretty hard to use. We're going to want things that essentially map over components and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense? I think it needs a bit more global thought. And I would suggest, I'm not certain, but I would suggest that what we want is a sort of composite extended image object that contains those annotations, that where things are kind of like living on the, I mean, I think we're going to need the same kind of thing for geo as well, audio, geo, text, etc. They're all kind of a related thing. We need sort of meta information that hangs off it, where you can do things like say, visit all the places that have been segmented out, or those kinds of things. I would recommend that we do this as I don't know, ILD or LCC meeting, and we try and collect. I thought we tried to do this. We had an annotation summit like 6 months ago, didn't we?
I think older than that.
Yeah.
But yes.
Let's find the notes from it, because I think that's what we need to do. I don't think this is right.
Okay.
but it's great to see all these things that got faster. That's all fine. I wouldn't put this part in yet.
Okay.
Text recognize, that's just making it better, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, those are all good. I mean, that's importing into a tabular, which will not
Yep.
be the default, but it'll be something you can ask for.
Correct.
Okay, data connection.
That's, I think, very much.
I think let's bring that up in one of these tabular meetings, Stephen.
Okay, fine. Okay, then I think we made it through the agenda, did we not?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.